Coming up next on Adventurer, tennis ace Patrick McEnroe. More when we return. Hi, I'm Jim Clash, and this is Adventurer, the show where people truly push their lives to the limits. No talking heads here, just the real deals. Today's guest is not as famous as his older brother John, but Patrick McEnroe has his own impressive career as both a tennis doubles champ and a broadcaster. He's here today to promote USTA's National Tennis Month. Welcome, Patrick.
Thanks
a lot
Jim.
for coming on.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
You know, you're the captain of the U.S. Davis Cup team right now. What does that entail? And tell us a little bit about USTA National Tennis Month.
Well, being the captain of the Davis Cup is a huge privilege, a huge honor, and I picked the team for the Davis Cup competition. We're in the semifinals this year, so we've got Andy Roddick, James Blake, the Bryan brothers, who are the #1 doubles team in the world, and we're looking forward to playing in September in the semifinals in Sweden, hoping if we can win that, we can win the Davis Cup, which the U.S. hasn't done for a number of years. So part of that and being the captain is also to promote tennis and to be out there in the grassroots, and that's what USTA Tennis Month is about. It's getting people out there, families, individuals, to play tennis, which is a game you can play for your entire life, and getting to your local public park or your local club and being active.
Well, yeah, now, speaking about success and failure, looking back over your career, you've really been playing tennis for a long time. Take me back to maybe your best memory on the court, and then also you're quite a broadcast person. What about in the booth? Well,
I think as a player, my best moment was doing well at the U.S. Open, which I did in '95. I reached the quarterfinals in singles, and you know, I'd always hoped to do well because it's my hometown in New York, and I had all my friends and my family. So I made it all the way to the quarterfinals. I actually made the semifinals one year at the Australian Open, but to do it in my hometown, in my home city.
Because you're from Queens, right?
From Queens. I grew up like 15 minutes from where the U.S. Open is played. I used to go back to the matches at Forest Hills way back in the day. So that was a thrill for me. I played a great match against Boris Becker, which I lost in 4 tough sets. But I think looking back at my playing days, that was a big moment for me, and also playing Davis Cup the couple times I did as a player. But as a broadcaster, I would say, you know, I've been there for a lot of major finals, but I think watching Roger Federer win his first Wimbledon back in 2003 and the emotion that he showed there when he broke down in tears, because we'd sort of all been waiting, all so-called tennis experts.
Because he was close.
Yeah, he was close, and he knew he had the talent, and of course now he's won Wimbledon 4 times, so I think he'll probably end up being the greatest player ever, but it was fun to be there to see him win his first.
Speaking about broadcasting, I heard that once you were the sports reporter for the Don Imus show.
Yeah, I try to keep that under wraps sometimes, Jim.
Now I'm sure.
It's coming out, yeah, exactly.
What happened there? I think you quit on air?
Well, I got a little upset with Don because I was actually in California where I was living for a time being. Yeah. So I used to get up at 1:45 in the morning to get to the studio to do the show in New York time. Sure. And Don would sometimes, actually often, just forget about doing the sport. So finally one day I said, what's the story here? Do you want to do sports on your show? And he said, well, no, not really, in typical Imus fashion. So we sort of got into a little back and forth, and it turned into a legitimate sort of beef that I had with him. And then his wife got involved, and she got on the phone and started giving me a hard time. So you know what? I said, you know what, Don, I'm done with this. I'm not into this anymore. So I said, I quit. So I just walked out, and I was in the studios in Burbank in Los Angeles at the NBC studios. Because of course it was simulcast on MSNBC, so the camera sort of followed me out. I just walked out the door and never came back. So don't be harsh with me here, Jim, because you don't want. I'm not walking out this Forbes.com door. Yeah. No, it was fun. It was actually fun working for him and being part of the show and seeing the way he ran things.
Well, yeah. Now you grew up John's younger brother, and I'm sure
I'm still his younger brother, by the way.
Yeah, good. And you guys faced each other sometimes, probably on the court. He was famous for his temper on the court. How much of that was really John's temper, and how much was it, just sort of, I don't know, an act?
I think when he was playing back in the day when he was #1 in the world, I think about 99.9% of it was real. Wow. And I think as he's gotten older and played more exhibition tennis and played more senior tennis, where as he says, if he doesn't get ticked off, the people want a refund. So he has to go and get ticked off.
He's been typecast.
Yeah, he's been typecast, but he sort of plays it up a little bit more now. But I can tell you that he's 48 now. And he's got to be one of the fittest 48-year-olds on the planet. He really takes the tennis seriously. So he still genuinely gets really hacked off out there when he doesn't beat one of these. You know, now you got Jim Curry or even Pete Sampras, these guys playing on the senior tour, and they're 12, 13 years younger than my brother.
And your brother's still
And he's still competing with them and still really gets ticked off. So I would say now it's maybe more about 60-40, that it's genuine, and 40% is an act. But back in the day, it was
99%.
All for real. All for real, yeah.
Patrick, thanks a lot for coming over to see us on The Adventure.
I appreciate it,
continued luck.
Thank you so much, and I'm going to take some of your financial advice when I walk out this door.
No load mutual funds, low expenses, index funds.
Okay, all right, I'll try to remember
You won
that.
over $3 million in tennis.
Where'd it all go? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Again, tennis maven Patrick McEnroe. I'm Forbes adventurer Jim Clash. To check out my column, pick up Forbes magazine or click on Forbes.com/adventurer. And thanks for watching the Forbes Video Network.